Hello everyone, welcome back to Eat Sleep Brief. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own DIY, pretty much a Chaeto grow light. It's going to be very simple, very straightforward. I've done a few things already just to kind of speed up the video so it doesn't make it as long. I mean, I don't think you guys need to see me cutting LED strips. Also plexiglass, or I think it's plexiglass. Stuff like that I've done to speed up the process. And yeah, so really let's dive right into it. So a few things you are going to need to do this DIY. You're going to need some form of acrylic or plexiglass from like the Home Depot. I started out with a big sheet and got it on the table saw and cut it to the size I need. So I have a J45. So the chamber in the back, the max width of it, I think was 3.5 by 7.5, and that's what you see here. So I cut it, and then I got some sandpaper to work on the edges so it's not that rough, and that was that. The next thing you're gonna need is LED lights. For you guys that saw my DIY Chaeto reactor, it's the same lights. It's I think it's 3 red, 1 blue, 3 red, 1 blue, and so on and so forth. It may be 4 red and 1 blue. I'll have a link in the description. I did get them on Amazon. Try to, if you can, get the waterproof one. They have like a gel coating on top of it. It's kind of hard to see it, but it feels like hot glue and it's clear, as you can see. Try to get that because these are waterproof. So, you know, if something splashes on them, you shouldn't have any issues. So, for my case, I ended up getting the big roll. I had tons of it left over. But for this project, I cut them in strands. Obviously, you can only cut them every 3 LEDs. So in this case, it worked out to be like that. And I'm actually going to put quite a bit of them. You can honestly get away with just doing 3 rows of them, even 4 rows. But I'm going to go ahead and do a total of 5 rows to really get the intensity up. If it's too high, what I can do is either take one off down the road or just run my light schedule lower. The next thing we have is scissors, hobby knife. You're gonna need a power supply to power these. I got this from Amazon as well. It's a 12 volt, 1 amp or 2 amp power supply. You can see the adapter here. Let me show you guys how to hook that up. You're gonna need some wire to bridge these all these LEDs together. Some wire strippers, some solder, and then you're also gonna need a soldering gun or soldering station. I'd have to say this is one of the hardest DIYs I'm gonna be doing for you guys, just because there is soldering involved. Personally, I feel very comfortable with it, but for you guys that don't, you're probably gonna have to find a friend or a neighbor that can maybe help you out. So let's get right on and start this DIY project and show you guys how to make your own DIY Chaeto light. So the first thing we have to do is we have to put, you start off with one of the LEDs on the board you cut. I guess you can really use whatever you want. If you want to make it out of plastic, like white plastic, whatever you want, just something for them to stick onto. So luckily these do have the sticky tape on the back. So just to get about the right spacing, I'm probably going to run it right on the edge. And then later I'm going to show you guys how we mount it. So you mount it like that, and then to make it easier, I'm going to also position the one all the way on the farthest left, and you guys are going to see here shortly why I do it this way. So once these are in place like this, what it allows me to do, if I was doing 2, it's a lot easier to set the spacing because you can kind of see the spacing here. So putting the 2 outer ones, for me at least, makes it easier to get the spacing right. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm not gonna do it on camera, I'm gonna do it off camera, get the spacing right, put them down, and show you guys how that step looks complete. So here we have them all positioned. You can see they're all held on here with the double-sided tape adhesive. I'm pretty happy with the spacing. You know, I really can't complain. Like I said, you can put less rows of them if you wanted to just do 3, if you just wanted to do 2. But I'm gonna start out with 5, see how that goes, and yeah, I should be happy. That's pretty much it. The next step I'm gonna do here is we do need to solder them. So that's what the knife is here for. So the knife, I'm gonna expose, like I said, this has a rubber texture to it. So I'm gonna cut pretty much right here and then just take off the rubber for all these pieces. As soon as I'm done, I'll show you guys how that looks. All right, so I left this last one here so I can do it on camera. You can see I'm just coming in with the knife. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to cut it, but I want to put enough pressure just to cut through that. You can see here it's like little rubber. Oh, you can see that. You see it? So I left the last one on, come with the hobby knife, and then just peel it off like so. And what that allows us to do, it allows us to expose the solder leads on each and every one of these. So once we have that done, let's just clean up this mess. And then I'll show you guys how to very quickly here wire it up, and then we'll just get on going with the video. All right, for you guys that have never soldered before, the process we're going to do right now is called tinning. So when I mentioned tinning, all we're doing is on this copper wire here, whatever material they use, we're going to put some solder on there, and that's called tinning. If you look at this one, it was already done from the factory. That's already tinned for you. So that's what a tinned lead looks like. So we're about to tin them right now. And it's very straightforward. Typically, I like to make sure there's some solder on the tip, like so. You can see how it just melts right off. Look at that, how hot that thing is. So we want to tin right here. Done. Done. Next one. Done. You don't want to leave the heat on it too long. You probably wouldn't mess it up, but you'd melt a little bit of the plastic around it. So now you can see why we had to remove the rubber, because there's no way I could have tinned them with that on. So once we have them tinned like that, we can go ahead and, in this case, grab your wire. You don't need too thick gauge wire. I believe this is 22 gauge, so it's very, very thin. You don't need a lot of it just because there's not a lot of, I think this wire will handle about 5 amps, and there's nowhere near going to be your 5 amps going through it. So one thing to take note of, guys, there is a plus and minus on all of these. So all we're going to do is bridge them all together up until the first one, because the first one's where we're going to be supplying the power, and then that one is just going to distribute it to all of them. So right now you want to get your, obviously if you don't have these, you can just use regular scissors. You want to expose the lead like so, and then once you have the lead exposed, you want to also tin the lead just like we did right now. I'm using this kind of as a little holder. You also want to tin the tip of it, and once it's tinned, it'll look, I don't know if you guys can even see that on camera, it'll look like that. So tinning, all tinning is putting some solder on the wire and on the leads. So let me measure off camera here the right length I'm going to need, and then I'm going to get it soldered so you guys can see how that looks. Alright, so I want to solder one on camera just so you guys can see how it goes. So remember, this is putting this to the negative, so from this negative to that negative, and here we go. Alright, that's one. Let's do this side. Two. Let me redo that one. Two, there we go. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Let me bring it up to the camera. That's it. It's really that simple. So then I would continue the same with the reds. And then from this point, I would need to solder this negative to that negative, and this negative to that negative, and that negative to that negative, and so on and so forth. So I probably won't do all that on camera, because like I said, I don't think you guys need to see me soldering it, because all I'm doing is jumpering them all the way to here. I'll probably get to here, because here it's going to be a little bit different, but I'll get to here and show you guys once that's complete. So on this one, remember guys, there is already a wire there. So you don't want to put too much heat, because if you put too much heat, one of two things will happen. One, you'll unsolder this, or two, you'll start melting the insulation. So you want to put it right on top of it and just kind of come in. There we go, just like that. And we'll do the same here. And remember, I already tinned the wire, so it's actually very simple to do. There we go. Here, I'll bring it on camera. You can see there how it looks. We're just piggybacking it, and just continue that. I'll show you guys here what will happen if you leave too much heat on it, just so you guys can see. So if you are doing this at home and you have this wire and you put too much heat, let me show you what will happen. So Here, let's try and put it on camera. So assuming I was tinning this and I put too much heat, watch what's gonna happen. Okay, there we go. That's actually a good example. So you can see, you don't mess it up, but the insulation starts running back. That's when you just put way too much heat on it. This would honestly still work, believe it or not. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's just how it looks if you're applying too much heat. So let me just finish these up and then we'll get right back. All right, so here we have it all complete. You guys are able to see all I did is, like I mentioned earlier, just bridge them. Honestly, off camera, it took about 2 minutes to do, but all we did is bridge the blacks, the reds, and that's pretty straightforward. I'll let you guys here look at it. And at the very end, if you guys may be saying, well, look, that's an open lead. Water can get to it, mess it up. Well, to seal it up, we're going to come back with hot glue, just a few dabs of hot glue at the very end to seal it up. I'll show you guys also how I do that. But the very last step here is either this side or this side needs to become our power side. So what I went ahead and did, I got a little bit thicker gauge wire. Not that you need it. You can honestly get away with the thinner stuff. Just the reason I'm using this because it's a little bit firmer. You know, it won't wear out over time, you know, if I'm messing with the connector as much as something this thin will. But if this is all you have, you can use like a speaker wire to do this. It's the same exact thing. So what I'm going to do here is expose the leads, cut right there, cut right there. And you can see here, I've exposed the leads. So you can either choose this side or this side to piggyback them off of. And honestly, that's it. So let me tin this side and then we'll get that hooked up. All right, so what I went ahead and did already is attach the main power lead. You can see here, I left it a little bit long just so I can cut it if need be. But I piggybacked it off there. Like I said, you can do it off here, honestly, even off the middle if you really wanted to. So before I seal these with hot glue, I want to make sure obviously this works. If not, it was a complete waste of time. So let's get my power supply that I showed you guys earlier, which is this one here. The good thing about this one, guys, you can just connect them here with the little, here, let me turn up the light. You guys can connect it here with the little screwdriver. You can see you'll just insert, obviously expose the bare wires on this, and then you'll just be able to connect them and you won't need to solder them. So you'll be able to connect them, obviously make sure the polarity is correct. If you accidentally get the polarity wrong, the only thing that will happen is they won't power on. You won't fry them. I promise you they will not fry. They just won't power on. I've done so many DIY stuff with LEDs. I kind of know them inside out. So yeah, let me go get a little screwdriver so I can obviously be able to mess with this. And then once we have that, we'll show you guys it working. Got my screwdriver, make sure these are loosened up all the way. And then make sure you find your black, and your red, like so. There we go. Oh, that ain't going nowhere. So now, there we go. I don't know if you guys are able to see that. So it ended up coming out really good. The next thing I'm gonna do is, this is more if you have an all-in-one, because you don't want the light coming to the back. I'm gonna cover this in black vinyl. I'll show you guys how that looks. And now that this works, I can actually set the right length I want on this bad boy. And but yeah, like I said, what I'm gonna do right now is cover this in black vinyl, and then we'll get some hot glue. We'll seal this up, and then we'll get the final length we're gonna want on this guy. Alright guys, so here it is all done. This is actually, I brought two of them. This was my first generation. This one actually covered in white vinyl, and then I ended up doing electrical because I figured out that it was shining through the white. So on this guy I used electrical tape to seal it off and also to use it to attach. You can see here. And it was actually very easy to remove. Right now I just went over, pulled it off, and removed it. So here you can see this is my version 1, has been running for about a week and a half, no issues whatsoever. This guy actually put it underwater in a bucket for like a whole day to see if it was actually waterproof, and it was. I didn't have any issues with it. So this is one we just finished up. I actually changed the connector out. You can see it's a lot easier with this guy. You can see they're hooked up, ready to go. here you can see the other one ready to go. So this one's actually going to be for my fluval peninsula, and this is for the JBJ, the one we just made right now. This one's actually running on the JBJ, and man, I saw so much growth out of the Chaeto. But you can see here where I came back with the hot glue just to seal it up. I also sealed up the top of it just to ensure, because when you make the cut you leave a little bit of the leads exposed. Now if you're really picky, you can go ahead and wrap this in electrical tape just to make it look a little bit nicer. I'll probably just give it one wrap around here with electrical tape. It also relieves stress here on the connector. You can see I even put hot glue for the connector, so it relieves the stress from there. So I'll wrap like one turn around here, probably electrical here, and then you could either mount it with, you can put Velcro here and here. If you leave enough on the side, you can put Velcro there to quickly mount it and remove it. You can use the same vinyl you used to wrap it if you'd like, or you can do the way I did here, just use electrical tape. I mean, just look at how slim this looks, guys. When you mount this, like, no one's even gonna notice. For you guys that have like sumps in your tanks, you can even cut a big piece of this kind of lengthwise along your Chaeto and just mount this right on top like that. And like I said, no one would even notice it. And I did test them underwater. This one here in particular, like I said, for a full day, and didn't have any issues. It didn't blow out, no issues whatsoever. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I think I pretty much covered everything for today. I really hope you guys found this video useful. I mean, just look how sleek that is, guys. My God. And the beauty of this, you can make one for like under 25 bucks. It really doesn't cost you a lot of money. But I'm gonna leave the links for the lights, the power supply, as much as I can in the link in the description below. If you guys love the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment box below. If you guys really did enjoy the video, guys, share it on your social media pages, Instagram, whatever you have, Facebook. I think a lot of reefers will like this video, especially people with all-in-one aquariums. I think they'll absolutely love this. You know, you don't need to fork out a lot of money to buy a Fuge light. Yeah, guys, if you guys are subscribed, be sure to hit the notification button. If you're not subscribed to our channel, be sure to subscribe, guys. It really helps me out, really motivates me to bring out videos like this. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, thanks for watching. Happy reefing. So real quick before I go, I thought I'd show you guys here how you'd install it in an all-in-one tank. So the first thing you have to do, if you do have vinyl or paint, you're going to have to trim that away. A sharp razor or knife will do it without a problem. Then we have here the LED itself. Very straightforward as far as mounting it. I'm using electrical tape, and the reason I use black electrical tape behind it so light doesn't come out through the rear of it and shines on my whole wall. And then once you got it set up, it should look something like this. You can see here it's very, very sleek. I think that's why I like it. A lot of lights out on the market, they're a lot thicker. Just, you know, I think in my opinion this looks a little bit better. And it's very straightforward to mount. You can see the electrical tape all around it. That ensures that no light is coming out from anywhere, so it's not shining on your wall and pretty much lighting up your whole room. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.